Hi friends, and welcome to Crick Vidya's cricket podcast. And this is the second episode of our Legends series. This is a series where we pick a legendary cricketer and try to talk about his career, his achievements, and his life. Our first episode was uh, done by Bharat sir with Glenn McGrath, and now we come with our second episode. And today, the player chosen is none other than Yuvraj Singh. And to talk about Yuvraj, we have our guest Puneet with us. Hi, Puneet. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Suri. It's very great to be back here again.
And along with Puneet, we have our Quick Vidya team, Manju and Yasir, also joining us. Hi, guys.
Hi Puneet. Hi
Hi, hi.
Sunil.
Hi, everyone.
So,
Yeah,
Puneet,
hi.
Manju will be the moderator for this, and he'll be taking it forward. Manju, over to you.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Sunit. And as we know, 12th December is going to be Yuvraj's birthday. So it will be his 39th birthday. So it's also an honor to do it on the eve of his birthday. Incidentally, the things have come together in such a way that we are able to do this close to his birthday. So we hope that it reaches him and makes him puts a smile on his lips. And so coming to you, Puneet, if you had to sum up Yuvraj Singh in a couple of lines, what would be your answer?
So, the first thing which I would have to say regarding Yuvraj Singh in terms of what kind of player he was, like for me, Yuvraj was one of the finest white ball batsmen which India has ever produced. I think he was one of the swiftest timer of the ball, and someone who used to play, who used to dominate bowlers from the word go. Like he was not someone who used to hang around, and he was someone who used to time the ball very well, and he was someone who used to calculate very well in terms of like how he used to he was not like very too much calculative, but he used to dominate. And for me, Yuvraj Singh was someone who used to dominate bowlers from the word go. And for me, he is one of the best white ball players produced by India in middle order. And like this is something like I have a lot of things to say regarding Yuvraj Singh since he's my favorite player. But in short, if I have to say something in few lines, I think he's one of the finest white ball batsmen produced by us in white ball cricket.
So, like as most people would know, that he's one of those rare openers also who was tried in Test cricket where he didn't click. But the actual splash which he made was in Nairobi in the year 2000, where he made that 84 run innings against Australia. Your memories of that match?
Okay, so I think that in that match, Yuvraj Singh debuted when Ajhar and Jadeja were out due to match fixing. I think he was taken by Ganguly in that side. He was a 18-year-old kid who did very well in the under 19 World Cup. So India at that time was suffering from the fixing issue, and he had to debut. And Ganguly was someone who backed the youngsters at that time, and he was a new captain. So for a 18-year-old guy to debut in the ICC Champions Trophy and to facing against the likes of McGrath, Gillespie, and Lee, and India was struggling at 90 for three. I think he had a partnership with Vinod Kamli, and we had a it
Yeah,
was a, kno- and we it was a knockout tournament. It was
right.
so we
And
had to win
if
this.
you see the partners which he had in that partnership, there was
Yeah,
Vinod Kambli was there.
yeah,
There was Robin Singh.
yes,
These were the two people whom we hoped would be as good as Yuvraj in our
yes.
generation of nineties.
So
So
to
it was very hard to see that innings.
Yeah, so to see him that day playing his first knock in that tournament, even though it was his second match, in the first match he didn't get to bat. So
But
it was his second match, and he was batting, and to play those straight drives and play those cover drives against the likes of Gillespie and the likes of Magra showed it confidence, and he was very dominating. And in that day, he stamped a mark in Indian cricket that this guy is someone who can strike the ball. Along with that, he has that power shot. We rarely had those players in 90s and 80s who had the timing, who as well as those and the power hitting as well. So I think he just stamped the authority on those on that big occasion, and this is a guy who can play on that big innings. So I think that was the Yuvraj Singh that we know in the first match.
and also in that game there was a direct hit of Michael Bevan and also a very good catch at point. So later on with Kef he started making that position his own. So as we discuss him and KF, I come to one of the another memorable games, the 2002 NatFest final, where he made his 69 runs, and he helped India chase for the first time. India did not bottle in a final. They had reached there with hardly one win out of 9 finals, and they had lost some 8 matches. So he helped India get over the line. So your memories of that game, and what did you gauge from his character, his performance in that game?
Okay, so NatWest final was is the first vivid memory of me watching Yuvraj and watching Indian team in that final. So I guess I remember that day, we had a great start. We were 100 for 0, and Dada and Sehwag gave us a very flourishing start in the 15 overs. And Dada was like around 60 or 45, and then we suddenly lost 5 wickets in like span of 7 to 8 overs. And that time, at that time, I used to watch a match with my father. So when India lost 5 wickets, my father went to sleep, and I was with my elder brother, and I was a young kid, so I still wanted India to win. So we were 145 for 5, and it was like 9 o'clock, and I and my elder brother was still sitting and watching the match, and my father had went to sleep. But because we were kid and we didn't have that kind of hope, so we still think we
Yeah,
can India could still win. So we were watching the match. So that day, Yuvraj, and at that time, we didn't know much of cap. So Yuvraj was the guy who attacked and kept the run rate they required it in check. It didn't went above 8 or 9. It was always around 6, 7. So these two guys, Mohammad Kaif and Yuvraj at the start was so attacking that he never let the run rate go above the 7 or 8 mark. So the kind of dominating game which Yuvraj played at the start was so pleasing to watch, that the Indian guy in a chasing the 325. I guess it wasn't chased before at that point of time. It was the highest chase, if I'm not wrong. So we Indians and the crowd of 20,000 people in the lots, which was so much of Indians in the ground, they had that belief that these two guys can still win us for us. So it was, I think that was a new era for Indian team, that we had Yuvraj Singh, who was dominating the English bowlers, even though we had lost the likes of Dravid, Dravid, Sachin, and Dada. So I think that was the one of the best knocks of Yuvraj that gave him the impetus in the international career, which was so much needed. I think this was the memory. I think it was very painful to see him that he went out on 69, and I think he was crying. I'm not sure, but he had
yeah,
some
he was
tears, which
in.
was
Yes, yes.
so. So
He
I
was
think it
very
was
upset
something
about
very
And
pleasant to.
so,
so sorry to digress, Puneet, but not just your father, Kev's father also stopped watching the match when all the five
they went
wickets
for a
fell.
movie.
Yeah, they
They
went
had
for a
gone for a
movie.
movie, and there was a lot of crowd collected around, and they are like, we're going to win the match. KF is scoring, and where are you guys? It was like that. Yeah. So after that, although KF did not stick on, but still Dhoni had arrived on the scene around late 2004-5 season, and later Dhoni and Yuvraj, they made became a formidable pair, and like the finishing, like the engine room for this lower middle order under Rahul Dravid, where they had those 16 consecutive chases and all. So what do you feel as far as impact in white ball cricket from this pair and Yuvraj, of course?
Okay, so I think Yuvraj got the chance to bat in top four when, unfortunately, Dada was removed from the one day side because of his lack of form. So in
Mhm.
the India Sri Lanka series in 2005, when Dada got removed and Yuvraj got the chance to bat in top four. So I think in that series, India started that chasing targets
Yeah.
in
Yes.
October in the 7 match or one day series. So
Right.
from that also Yuvraj got that form batting in the top one, and they helped along with Dhoni. So
Mm.
from that series and from the series against in South Africa, and in the next series which will happen in November, and then we had a series in Pakistan, the 5 match one day series. So the in that three series, Yuvraj and Dhoni got that partnership going from in 4, 5, 6 position, and which led to the future Yuvraj and Dhoni flourishing of the Yuvraj and Dhoni partnership. So what I realized between the partnership between Yuvraj and Dhoni was great was Dhoni being his own self, that he always was someone who liked to take the back seat in the middle of the innings, and he allowed Yuvraj, who was a more of a dominating player, to flourish in that position. So Yuvraj got a very formidable partner in Dhoni, but Yuvraj he got that partner in MS, and he dominated the bowlers in the middle overs. So that partnership from 2005 end to 2009 end, where in these 4 years, one of the most devastating middle order players for any team in the world cricket. So what Yuvraj did in those 4 years was something for me, like he may not be the usual kind of finisher who would take the game deep to last ball, but who would someone who would kill the game in the middle overs itself with his dominating kind of play. To have so for me, Yuvraj was one of the greatest finishers of white ball cricket, and someone who would dominate the bowlers from the world go. So it was very grateful to see.
We'll come to most fond memory for every Indian, the 2007 T20 World Cup in South Africa. So, what are your memories of Yuvraj from that tournament?
Okay, so
It
this
was
is
a
some
new format and under MS Dhoni. So,
so 2007 T20 World Cup, like before that T20 World Cup started with Sachin, Dada and Dravid not being around, along with Jahir, who opted out. So
hmm,
it was not something which had created a lot of hysteria in India that this is the World Cup which we would have hoped to win, because we are not, we didn't even reach the Super 8s in the World Cup 50 over World Cup in the 4 months before. So the World Cup was not something which was very hyped in the minds of Indian. So the World Cup started and we did decently in the first 2 3 matches. So the first great memory of mine in that World Cup was like in India England match where Yuvraj hit those 6 sixes and we won the match. But for me, one of the greatest T20 knocks ever played still in the last, even though T20 is very famous, is the match played by Yuvraj Singh in the semi-finals against Australia.
yes,
That knock which he played against Australia in 30 ball 70 run knock is so
70 runs.
crucial. I will tell you why. Like we were playing Australia and we had those marks, those marks against them losing in the three World Cup finals, and they've
Right.
totally dominated us. So when we were playing, you will remember that Sehwag and Gauti were a very, like they are kind of starters who used to dominate ballers. But in that
Yeah.
match, they were not dominating. They played very defensive cricket at
Right.
the start. We
They,
were
they played quite
we
well.
were 41 for 2 in 8 overs, and that's not the
Yeah.
kind of start that was expected from the Sehwag and Gautam Gambhir. We lost two
Yeah.
wickets. So
Yeah.
when Yuvraj Singh came at 41 for 2, we were expecting that we would reach around 160, 170 at max, and we would give a very challenging kind of total. But Yuvraj Singh, he was such a dominating kind of batsman. He came and straight away dominated the best ball of the Australian, that was Betley, and that I would say that the shot against Betley of 190 meter six, that
Yeah.
completely set the tone for the rest of the innings. So for me, the greatest memory, I still want the greatest memory of for me in the Indian cricket is that six against Betley, and that six totally set the tone for the remaining of the T20 World Cup, and the way other players came like Rohit Sharma, Uthappa, and Dhoni, and they dominated. So I think for me, Yuvraj Singh for me became my favorite player because of that. For that knock against what he played against Australian semis, like he totally, Australians didn't even believe that the Indians can totally come like this in the middle of the match, and they were down and out. Like I didn't expect it for India at that time to from 41 for 2 after 8 overs. Like we can come and totally dominate them like this, the way he batted. So for me, I became his biggest fan after that knock, what he played against Australia.
So,
I would like to, sorry to interrupt. I would like to know everyone's opinion on that knock which Yuvraj played in that match against Australia. Everyone's opinion.
well, for me, though, I enjoyed it because there was a power cut first. And when the power came on, I saw Harbhajan getting Michael Clark bowled from the Yorker. So
Yes,
that
yes,
is a
yes,
very fond memory when I realized that, yeah, now we can win. That was while defending the score. But
yes, yes, yes.
definitely, I enjoyed his batting. There was one flick and one pull which just he touched it and it went miles. So that was a very
Just a
fond
minute,
memory.
just a minute. Like you said, there's a power cut. I remember that day, like I used to live in a small city in Gorakhpur, and that time there was used to be a lot of power cuts. So that
Right.
day there was a semi-final, and before that match against South
Hmm.
Africa, we had a power cut when South Africa was batting between the match. So my father that day we it was South Africa was already in back foot, so we knew that India would qualify for the semis. So we didn't have that much of frustration. So in the semi-finals, when the match started after 4 hours, there was a power cut. So that day my father
Yeah,
abused a lot to the electricity one why there's a power cut,
yeah,
vagara vagara, and even we were very frustrated. So that time
yeah.
we used to live in a government quarter. So nearby there was a main chalk of there was a main chalk. So we and my elder brother went like walking to the main chalk to watch the match. In
Uh-huh.
that main chalk, there was a TV and the pan wala shop was playing on a TV. So we went
Right.
walking and we watched the seventh and from sixth over till the 20th over there. So I just remembered
Mhm.
that, and it was huge crowd gathered there. We never see
Right.
these kind of crowds these days because we have so much
Nowadays,
of
yeah, yeah,
digital and also I remember
because of
that.
digital.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
true. So this one little tough discussion for you is that in tests, what do you feel is the reason he never made a place? Were there too many people in our middle order that we couldn't accommodate Yuvraj, or was there some other reason? And in the same connection, there's one very memorable knock of his where in the Chennai test he helped chase the 387 with Sachin, and there was a 163-run partnership, and he got an 85. So your take on Yuvraj, the Test cricketer, what do you feel?
Okay, so I think Yuvraj, when he was young, he got those chances at the start of his career, very rare chances. So I remember he got one or few chances in the middle
Mm.
order, and in Pakistan, I guess in the Rawalpindi Test and the before in the Lahore Test in the middle order.
Lahore
So
Test. Yeah,
he got 50s and all. So he got
yeah,
one
he
more.
has a 112
In the
in the
Lahore Test,
Lahore
he
Test,
got the
where
100. He
he
got the
batted
100.
with Irfan Pathan and got
Haha, he
India to
got the
like
100 and got
387.
the 100 in the Lahore
Yes,
Test, second test. So
yes, second test.
when Australia came to India, he got the chance to be an opener, and
Yeah,
so because in place of Akash Chopra
yeah,
in the second test.
yeah,
So what
correct.
happened was at that time he was not very sure what is being expected of Yuvraj in what position he had to deliver to be settled in the
Right.
test side. So and that kept happening to him till the time Dada was around. So because Lakshman, Dada, Sachin, and Dravid were the kept the position 3, 4, 5, 6. So he was not very sure like at what position he had to play that role and kind of role he had to play. So when Dada retired, he got that permanent position in 2008, and as you said, that he made a very great partnership with Sachin to chase that score in Chennai, 387. He got a 50, and after that he got a series in New Zealand. We didn't perform well. So to be very honest, what I feel why Yuvraj Singh wasn't able to succeed in Test cricket very well as was expected of him, even though he was a very good timer of the ball and he was very good. I think Yuvraj Singh was not kind of batsman who adjusted very well to the swinging ball and the swimming ball. He was not very calculative and very patient in terms of how to see the moving ball and the swinging ball. He played too many shots at times, and that was something which was the reason that he you would see him getting caught in slips and getting LB. I think this was the reason. Like he was, I would say that I wish he would have done very well in Test cricket, but I think he wasn't someone who had that patient enough to play that waiting game. He always liked to dominate, and that
Um,
led to him playing a lot of shots. For me, I think this was a reason. Like otherwise, he was a very good batsman.
So another dimension to Yuvraj was his bowling, which was like in Wisden's poll, it was voted third along with Sachin and Saurav as India's best part-timers. So this came to the fore along with his batting and middle order exploits in the 2011 World Cup. So how did you follow this tournament, and what were the highlights of his performances for you? Any memorable performance regarding?
In the 11 World Cup, right?
Yeah, 2011. Yes.
Yeah. So in the 11 World Cup, I remember just before the World Cup, Dhoni having a press conference and saying that he is still not sure who is going to the seventh player in the top seven. He is still undecided between the Suresh Raina and Yuvraj Singh, because Yusuf Pathan had hit 200s just before the
Mm,
World Cup, game-changing hundreds. So
yeah.
it was very shocking for us and even very shocking for the media as well. Like still Yuvraj Singh, who has been such a finest white ball player, one of the finest white ball players for us, is still unsure of the 11 in the 11. So, but I think the management and everyone backed him, and he got the chance. And in the game against Ireland, I think before that Ireland England game also, he hit a 50 in a very crucial situation. He got those 58. So so in the in the game against Ireland, when he got those 5 wickets, I think that was something which took his game in that tournament to another level. And Yuvraj Singh, I've always seen, I always observed, whenever he used to do well in batting and he used to come in bowling, he used to perform in bowling as well. So he took that confidence of batting to in the bowling as well. And if he had done well in the bowling, he would perform well in the batting as well. So he had that mindset of all rounder, even though he was not a pure all-rounder, but he had that mindset. If he used to do well in the bowling, he would do in the same in the batting as well. So I think the way he bowled in the match against Ireland and he got those 5 wickets, I think it translated into his batting as well. In that match, he got to bat in a very tricky situation against Ireland. He got the 50 and he continued. And we know he's kind of batsman who used to carry the momentum. So so Yuvraj Singh's bowling, I think he was a very clever kind of bowler. Like he used to ball slow in the air, and he used to he was not like someone like you just to dart line. He's not kind of Ravin Jadeja kind of bowler. He will ball fast, and he used to like slow in the air, and he used to ball slow in the air, and he used to like what we say in the what that word चकमा देना, like वो बैट्समैन को हवे में चकमा देना और कहते हैं तो. So I think he was a very clever bowler for me. Like in that World Cup, he totally fulfilled us the fifth bowler
Related
quota.
to related
Except
to the
Kevin
same thing.
Peterson. Sorry.
Yeah,
Except
yeah,
Kevin Peterson.
five checkers. Yeah. So related to the same thing, just a short question for you is, why is India struggling to find these kind of cricketers? Yuvraj Raina and Yusuf Pathan competing for the same places could also bowl equally decently well enough. So any reason according to you, what do you feel is ailing our like not obviously pace bowling all rounders are rare in our country, but at least spin bowler all rounders like after Kedar we are not having anyone who can bowl from the
so
top six.
so I really don't know what's the reason for it, because even Kedar was not the part timer in the
Mainly I
domestic.
wanted to know like while following the तभी क्या अलग था अभी कुछ बदल गया.
So
Is it
I
something?
will tell you one. So I will give just a good example. Even Kedar was not the part was the part timer in domestic circuit. He was asked by MS to ball in the nets, and MS find something unusual in him, and he started bowling. So I don't know why the new generation of players who are coming aren't bowling enough. Like I really don't know a reason for it. Like, because it's not a pattern. Because in the West countries, in Australia, England, and every country, they have a part timer who bowls. I don't know why it's happening to India that every other the young batsman which is coming, they don't know, they aren't good enough to give 2 3 overs in a cricket match. So to be very honest, I don't know a reason why maybe they are not good enough in the nets, that the management is not confident enough to bowl in the real match, in the international match, or I think they don't have the talent, because the likes of Sachin, Dada, and Yuvraj, Sehwag, they were batting all-rounders before they made into international circuit. They used to bowl. So the likes of Prithvi Shaw, Shubman Gill, everyone, they are not bowling in the domestic circuit as well. Shreyas Iyer and everyone. So it's not like that they are bowling in the domestic circuit and they come into international, they have start bowling. Even apart from Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, they used to bowl in the domestic circuit and they have stopped because of the injuries. But I don't know what's the reason with the youngsters who are coming. They're not even bowling in the domestic circuit, and not even in international cricket. I don't have a reason for it. I really don't have a reason for it. Why they are not bowling?
So Manju, we did
So
a
as we
podcast specifically on this topic. So
yeah right
you guys should listen to it, and we have
yeah
5 6 possible theories and 5 6
correct
possible reasons. So
yeah
it's interesting. Not everything is substantiated. We can just think of
yeah
what could it be.
what
But
could it
you
be.
should listen to it.
Yeah. So the next part is a little tough part. Unfortunately, he was affected with cancer, had a lung tumor, and he went to the US, took treatment, and then made his comeback. During this period, Sachin Tendulkar definitely helped him, and speaking to all his teammates, he felt better talking to them, and he decided to return to competitive cricket. In fact, he's made his highest ODI score of 150 after coming back. So I just want to ask Puneet, what did you find different after he was back? Anything changed in his game? Did he slow down with age, or what do you feel was the reason he wasn't that much of the force he was before that?
I think the major reason why what I felt after seeing him back after that cancer what which he had, I think I think maybe the confidence. I think the confidence was one of the reason. Apart from I think the maybe the feet movement, and I think the hand-eye coordination which got affected due to not due to age, maybe due to which disease which he had. Apart from maybe as well as the age move would maybe a factor, because I think cancer is not a disease which would take it very easy for everyone to recover, and for someone caliber of Yuvraj Singh to anyone to come back and play the international competitive cricket again is something a huge achievement for anyone. And to play at that level, it's something which should be cherished by each and every Indian. I think we should we should see that someone like he has come back and played cricket and played very good cricket after that as well. But I think what I saw is that like he was not the feet movement which I saw, that the hand eye coordination, the feet movement which Yuvraj Singh had before. I think that was missing for me before after what he came back. Along with that, I think the confidence, because if you come back in a cricket in after 1 year in that big stage, and you, I think the confidence was missing, which was not the reason, but which could have come after you have played 20-25 matches, which would have come. But the major reason for me was something like I think he had the feet movement and the hand-eye coordination was something which got affected for me, according to me, that which got affected after the disease, which was not the same before what he had in his prime.
So finally, to conclude,
Uh,
that is
just a
the
minute,
last.
Manju sir, I was just
Ah, yes.
wanted to, like, being a doctor yourself, what did
Yeah.
you find? Like, what did you find? What
No, he
did
had
you
a
find missing in Yuvraj Singh after that?
no, he had a lung tumor, which is like normally even it is curable and it is benign. It definitely knocks out a lot of your resilience and your strength. So in fact, after that, coming back onto the field and playing competitive game itself is a miracle. So I think I was really fortunate that he came back and we were able to see him in action. There are people who are worrying about his 11 of 21 balls or some innings which they keep on bringing up. But I was like really happy that he's playing the game, he's fit and fine, alive and well. So that was very much of that was enough for me, in fact, actually.
I
So
think when
just
he
to
came
conclude
back,
this session.
he played that wonderful T20 innings against Australia. That
Yes.
he and Dhoni had that partnership.
Hmm,
Yes, yes.
that's
He
true.
had he had some very good knocks in T20s after that. After he came back, two three
Yeah.
T20 knocks. Even in bowling also he was decent enough.
So the last segment is between Yuvraj and media. There have been a lot of friction and some interesting things have been said. I'll just repeat a few of his statements to you, and I'll take your opinion on that. So first thing is, in this lockdown, he's given an interview saying that nobody supported him like Dada, and the same support was not there in the other captains which he had. So do you think it is just a mindset or a player is biased towards his first captain? What do you think, Puneet?
So it's a very tricky question for me to answer, because I have biasness for Yuvraj because he's my favorite player. I have my biasness for MS as well, because I see from where, from what, how MS thinks as well. So to be very honest, I think he's being kind of emotional and being biased to his first captain. I think Yuvraj was backed a lot from MS Dhoni. I think he was such a big player that straight coming from a such a big decision, he got to play in the national cricket without playing much of the domestic cricket. He straightly come back into in the T20 cricket, and that shows how big player he was. He wasn't given much of to. He wasn't given ultimatum by the BCCI to play in domestic cricket, and then he can come back, because there was a T20 World Cup around 2012, and he played the whole season of it from October to January. We had a series with England in the home series. So, and he didn't perform that well. And for me, MS is someone who is, I may be wrong, but who is someone who thinks, who has a very long run kind of approach, and he would have seen something in Yuvraj that he was not at his best, and he was dropped. And again, the way he performed, he came back, and again he was backed by MS. He was it was never like it was never like that he was being sent out of team for no reason. He was always removed from team because he hasn't been able to perform to that extent which was expected from someone of caliber of Yuvraj Singh. So I think something which is, I think the statement which has come from Yuvraj was something which is bit emotional and bit kind of biasness from his first captain, because at that time he was very raw, he was young, and the kind of backing which Dada gave to him, so it's something which has been stuck in his mind. Not so I think it's kind of a bit emotion and bit kind of biasness from Yuvraj Singh in that statement.
So MS has done this to quite a few players, so that's why I
And
think
this
he.
one more small stat which I dug up was MS and Raina have featured in 276 ODIs, and Yuvraj has also said that Raina definitely had the backing of MS in the 2011 World Cup, because after initially he used Yusuf Pathan, but later he didn't drop Raina. Raina also delivered in that. So
Yeah.
some captains seem to have that relationship with a particular player
Yes,
whom they
yes.
like, or the go-to men who are there. That is, and then there is one more statement which is a very recent one, and they are like, Rishabh Pant needs only guidance and not criticism. So how do you react to this, Puneet, and what do you feel about the statement?
So to be to be very frank, I think and I am someone who like Rishabh Pant a lot, and I
Yeah,
personally feel that Rishabh Pant, what Yuvraj Singh regarding Rishabh Pant, since Rishabh Pant is very young, and I think that Rishabh Pant definitely needs a lot of backing from the team management, because Yuvraj sees Rishabh Pant from his own perspective, how he was backed when he was young. He debuted in 2000. After that knock, what he played against Australia in the second ODI, he didn't play anything substantial till 2 years. Still, he was being backed by Dada for two back-to-back years. He was very inconsistent, and that is what Yuvraj sees in Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant is someone who may not be consistent enough to like to play an anchor role or to play a substantial kind of role every match, but when he bats well, he will win you a match from nowhere. And that's kind of where Yuvraj was, and that is kind of where Rishabh Pant according to me. So and Rishabh Pant is someone who would win you a one match out of 10, or two match out of 10, very which is which is what you can expect the most from any player, to win two matches out of 10 and of his own. So I think, I think I totally agree with Yuvraj Singh. I think Rishabh Pant is someone that he needs more guidance. I think he needs to be backed by the team management, and I totally agree with Yuvraj's statement.
So Manju,
and yeah,
Yuvraj
the last.
actually gave
Huh.
this interview. This was a chat with Rohit Sharma, I think, which he
Yes,
did.
yes,
So
yes.
he actually said that the seniors in the team have to actually
Huh.
guide all the young players, and
Right.
they are not doing it enough. Apart from Kohli and Rohit Sharma, nobody
Yeah.
else is actually guiding these players on how to build their career, how to build innings, and all those things. So in that sense, I think that is also something, and also the IPL factor, obviously, because
Right.
the money
Right.
comes in, and these players don't really look up to all these seniors with that much respect and try to learn. So that those factors are definitely there. I think Yuvraj's assessment and comments in those interview were quite accurate, and I think obviously these players would need backing. Uh, for so long, we've now forgotten maybe, but Rohit Sharma, everybody questioned that why is he being backed? What is the talent that everybody talks about? And
Huh.
now you see what the talent was. So that is a similar
He
case.
he himself downplays it, saying that मैं तो स्पिनर था, 7-8 नंबर पे आता था, ये सब लोगों ने टैलेंट टैलेंट करके मुझे ये कर दिया. So that is
Also Yuvraj also said one thing, that in the current Indian team, there's not many seniors to look after like what he had in his time. He
Yeah,
said that we
correct.
only have they only have Rohit Sharma and Virat
Virat
Kohli
Kohli.
in the who mostly played the all three formats to look after. In their time, there was a lot of players like Kumble, Dada, Sachin, Dravid, and all. So I think that's also the issue for a youngster to whom to look after. And
And also, he made a comment about Pant that he should go back to Ranji Trophy and get match time. So that is something that is, I think, very critical, especially if because he's just touring with the team and not playing any matches. So he's effectively not getting any match time. So I think they should tell him, you're not part of our plans or any of the three formats. Go back, score thousands of runs in Ranji Trophy, and then come back.
Also, what I think is what the dilemma of the current management is, during the time when Yuvraj was young in the early 2000, there weren't that kind of talent which was coming up, that kind of talent which we are having right now. So suppose if you are backing someone in this time for 10 to 20 matches and he doesn't perform, and there are 10 other talents waiting for that position, and so they always have that dilemma that if we give that person 10 matches and doesn't perform, there are 10 other people who are waiting for that position. So that's the biggest dilemma for any management, that so let's give them 3 matches, let's wait. We have become very fidgety in kind of whom to play in the 11 and whom to take in the 15, and that was not the dilemma which we had in the early 2000. So Yuvraj was the only that kind of guy who was hyped in terms of the raw talent. But here we have so many in that position: Ishan Kishan, Rishabh Pant, Shreyas Iyer, Surya Kumar Yadav, and also to media. So in media, we always have talent coming in every week. Like every talent is there. Like, he's at number 4. He's the
Next
best
one.
white ball talent. He's the X factor. So I think there's a lot of pressure for the current management to whom to back, and
So the last two media statements for you. There is one tough one easy one. Which one would you want first?
I would take the tough one first.
Okay, so the tough one is that he said that the management told me to clear the yo-yo test with an aim that I would not clear it and I would be out of contention. But then since I cleared the yo-yo test, they went into a dilemma what to do, and the communication stopped, and I was not clearly told what was my future. So I was aiming to play till 2019. So your views on this, does it happen to everyone, and or why does this happen to everyone? Maybe even Shrikant to a certain extent. So many players have been, they are vanished and gone. And that way I feel Dravid, Lakshman are all very lucky to have a farewell. Whether it was forced or we don't know, but still. So your take on this communication, what is the problem with communication? Yeah.
So regarding communication, I would say one thing. Like I think the management was very diplomatic enough to say that to Yuvraj Singh that you have to clear the yo-yo test. And also, I would see from the perspective of management that if they would say to someone like Yuvraj that you're not in our plans for the 2019 World Cup, to say someone to say something to a player of that caliber like Yuvraj Singh, it may hurt him. So I think, to
Hmm.
be very honest, like what if I would be a selector, like I would say to him that clear the Euro test, and then we would see where you fit in our plans for the 2019 World Cup. And this is what they
Correct.
conveyed to him. And he
Hmm.
and he cleared the Euro test, but by the time he cleared the Euro test, they had other options. They got the selectors got 2 3 other options. So from seeing from the perspective of selectors, I think if I would have been a selector, I would have conveyed the same to him as well, because I can't say directly to someone like Yuvraj that you're not in our plans. I may not have the guts to say that, to be very honest. So I think from the selectors perspective, they said what is the politically right thing to say to him, that you have to clear the
Correct.
Euro test. And answered your tough question, that I think the selectors were right,
So
and
now,
maybe
yeah, now the easy one, it may be little upsetting, but why did Yuvraj go to his first IPL toss in t-shirt and shorts for Kings 11? What happened there?
I, this was the easy one. So this is you're saying with the 2008 Kings 11 Punjab match.
Yes,
I
yes,
To be very honest, I actually don't remember this incident, that he went into shorts. For me, it was a
no,
difficult question.
what happened was they said that Preeti Zinta fixed the sponsors late, so they were decided by 2 a.m. of a game, 4 p.m. game.
Okay,
So the truck came to the stadium at the time of the toss. So the players didn't have clothes.
okay, okay.
And afterwards, what happened was the t-shirts were so long. that if you tucked in the shirt, the player's number would be gone. So they
Okay.
were told to tuck it out. And Brett Lee
I
was not.
didn't know, to be very honest, I didn't know this incident. I remember that match. I
Uh,
saw that match after an hour. Like it was a 5
okay.
5 p.m. start. I
Ah,
remember the first
right,
half
right,
of the match
right.
started at 5 o'clock, and
Yeah.
the second half was at 8:30. So I
Huh,
started watching them at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. So I
huh.
did remember that toss, and I haven't seen this in news as well. To be very
Okay.
honest, I haven't seen this, so I had no idea about this thing.
Okay. And one more thing was when they asked Brett Lee, "Are you happy with the kit?" So he told the owner that everything is fine, but I have to get my arm up to bowl. That was the fitting of the shirt, like which was there. So that was the thing.
Okay.
So from here, like our questions are ended. Anything you would like to add, which we would have missed on Yuvraj's career? Something you want to reflect, you can add.
Okay. I would not like to. I think you have pretty well covered everything regarding his career. I would like to add one thing. I think in the 2014 T20 World Cup, the kind of knock which he played in the finals, and the way he was attacked by the Indian fans in that match. I still remember that. I since I was die-hard Yuvraj fan, and lot of people of my age are, and everyone is. I think the way India, after India lost the match, I think the way people were abusing him on social media at that time. I wasn't active on Twitter, but we were very active on Facebook that time. And I
Hmm.
remember people of my age and my relatives and my friends, they were simply abusing him, abusing his family, and the way. And I was the one of the few who
Hmm.
was supporting him and trying to say, please don't abuse that person. Why he has won us two World Cups, being
Yeah.
and not being even so.
Very
I
true.
think I would like to say that yeah, he would have been the reason we didn't do that well in the World Cup finals. He didn't perform up to the expectations, and the reason we weren't able to uh, score post a big total. But the way the people of India abused him, like he was the reason that we didn't do anything substantial in the Indian cricket. So I think I would like to know that, like, how do you see the thing that how Indian fans react to such things, to the to someone who is of caliber of Yuvraj Singh, who is one of the primary reasons that we won two World Cups before that. And we are so emotional beings that we weren't able to control our emotions when he wasn't able to perform up to the expectations, and we were simply abusing his family, and we were just pelting
Yeah.
stones at his house. So
So
how do you
sad.
see that? I want to ask everyone.
So on a lighter note, I would say maybe MS foresaw that and he actually
Hmm.
dropped him because there should not be any such instance which tarnishes
Yeah.
his image.
Yeah.
But on a serious note, I think nobody deserves that. But the Indian fans are like that. They're very passionate, and this burning of uh, photos and all this
Effigies.
happened quite a lot earlier also when we
Correct.
lost critical
The house.
matches and all those things. So in that sense, I think obviously it is not just and especially for a player of his caliber who's contributed so much to the Indian cricket, but we forget very easily. We just want to win what we are playing right now, and we just take for granted what we've already won. So
Correct.
and that is particularly true on social media. So those who really value him won't be actually saying anything on social media. uh, they'll not be supporting him or saying positive things. They'll not be there. So you'll just see all the negative stuff only. So that is what the situation is on social media. So I think there are a lot of people who would have actually forgotten that uh, negative innings that he played, and would remember him just for the 2007 and 2011 cups. And there would be a lot of people like that. So I think that is what it is. And those people who would have actually abused him at that time, they might have also forgotten if
Right.
you ask them now.
And they are not Jofra that will dig their tweets and show them again. So,
I
So
would like to know from Yasir Bhai, like
yeah,
he didn't give his opinion regarding it.
yeah.
My opinion with just about Yuvraj, I think is he's a very emotional person. So he has done well when he feels that the team wants him, or the captain shows faith in him. And whenever I think that has not happened, his performance has dipped. And and I think that is one of the reasons why he was, I would say, not so. His performances in IPL per se are not to that extent that we associate with him, because I just felt that the clubs and the team management may have not managed him properly. That's one point. And my second point is that if you just look at ESPN Cricinfo stats about Yuvraj, you may think that he's a good player, but you'll not feel that he's an extraordinary player, or the numbers could not be as
Yes.
wrong as they are, because
Yes. Yes.
he was perhaps India's greatest match winner as Gautam Gambhir, and I really agree with him. But
Yeah.
I agree on this point that he was possibly the greatest match winner we have had in white ball cricket, and the numbers don't tell you the entire story.
Totally
He
agree.
has a
Totally agree.
64 ball 100 also.
Yeah,
So
Mm.
that shows,
against
which
England.
was the then fastest.
Yeah,
Yeah, against which was the then fastest 100.
yeah,
But we tend to, it goes under all these matches which have been played.
right.
Yes. 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 Totally agree.
So I think on that note, we'll close this podcast. And it's been a really, really nice discussion, and reliving those matches which we have actually uh, grown up watching. So I think
Actually.
a really good discussion. And thank you, Puneet, for giving us um, reliving, making us relive those moments. And thank you, Manju, for the
Yeah.
moderation, and Yasir for your small contribution towards the end.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Suneet, for inviting me on the show.
Okay, thank you guys, and have a nice day.
Nice to hear passionate voices as always. Thanks a lot, Puneet.
Yes. Yes.